What's up? If you are a high achieving guy, you are more likely to be addicted to pornography than a regular person, an average person. And here's why. High achieving men deal with a certain type of executive responsibility and pressure that a regular person is just never going to have to deal with. Think about it. You have these decisions that you have to make in a day that are extremely exhausting. And you have to make these decisions really quickly. You don't have the luxury of saying, let me get back to you on that. You have to make an executive decision in a fast paced environment. And if you make the wrong decision, and sometimes you don't even know if it's right or the wrong decision, months later, you have to pay the price. And sometimes the price is paid in years. That's the sort of pressure you're dealing with. Then there are all the expenses that most people do not understand. You have all these taxes to worry about, you have payroll to worry about, you have marketing to worry about, you have competition, you have employees, there's so many things. Then you also have to show up at the end of your workday and act like a normal person when you are not normal and you may not have even learned how to build the systems outside of work that support you. So, what does this have to do with something like pornography addiction? Well, porn is one of the easiest supplements that a high achiever can use. I mean it. Think about it. It is easily accessible, it is anonymous, it gives you multiple options for different levels of dopamine spikes. There is barely any recovery time, and the result that you get is instantaneous and predictable. It works over and over again. But there is a price, and the price is going to impact your net worth. It is going to impact your business. In fact, it already is. But the interesting thing is, because it's so anonymous, and aside from myself, there's nobody else actually openly talking about how it impacts high achievers. It's so easy to sweep it under the rug and just think it's not a big deal. But the truth is, I have worked with hundreds of high achievers. Now, I've worked with tens of thousands of men in our program, Porn Reboots. But when it comes to high achievers, CEOs, sales leaders, managers of large companies, executives, those people who have huge responsibilities and you just carry a heavy weight every day, I have seen the direct impact that it has on whatever it is that you're running. Here are a few of the things that actually happen. The first thing is, even though the hit is easily available, you begin to lose your ability to make executive decisions the right way. Hold up, let me actually go back. I missed something that's more important. You start to feel flat and numb at work. Remember, because you're not normal and you're a high achiever, there's always been something driving you. Like there's a driving force. I don't want to go into trauma or whatever, but you have to win. You have to produce. It has to be perfect. You are impatient when people say it's going to take 2 days to do that. We were waiting on people to get back. What is that? What the did you mean you were waiting on people to get back to you? Can't you just go figure that out and get it to me by end of day? Like if you're that type of person that you're just like, we needed to do all of this yesterday, you start wondering. You start going, it doesn't mean you change. It's just that you used to be driven to ask for these things. Now the desire to ask for those things is there and to push, but you just really don't feel that let's go get it. That's the first thing that you're going to lose. Why? Because your neurochemical makeup, the map, has been altered by pornography. It has completely changed. Next comes what I was talking about. Your ability to make fast decisions is affected. Prefrontal cortex, necessary for executive functioning, for prioritization and making decisions. Now you start making shitty decisions. But that isn't the worst part. It's not the flatness, the donut, none of that. And back to that donut piece and the flatness and not feeling the oomph. This is a marathon. Entrepreneurship is a marathon. Climbing the corporate ladder is a marathon. Many of us are doing this for years, for decades, and we have accepted that we're going to pay the price. But you know you cannot pay the price without the requisite neurochemicals. And if they are missing, you start asking yourself, why the am I showing up over and over again? And here's why it's devastating for you and I. It is devastating for people like us because the things that are driving us are not going to change. Sometimes we've already set up our lives in a way that we can't go back to being normal. So you have no choice but to move forward. But because you've been engaging in this secret behavior, it done you up now. So now your neurochemicals and your brain is no longer supporting a self-image that is designed to be a high achiever. And nobody understands. And you can't, who are you going to explain it to? Who gives a Nobody understands. Your therapist is not going to understand. Your counselor, your wife is, nobody's going to understand. That's where I come in. But that's not what this is about. This is about you hopefully understanding that you are not alone in this, right? So that's not the worst part, okay? The worst part is you're no longer performing at 95 to 100%, the way you used to, the way you would just leave everything on the field when you came back home. You're operating at like 70 to at best 80%. Now, an average person who's watching this would go like, hey, 70, 80% is okay. But for us, that, right? It requires 95 to 100% every single day to play this game. And we have trained ourselves to do this. At 70 to 80%, to the average observer, you're still phenomenal. You are still absolutely amazing, but you aren't. And the problem begins to happen. The big problems happen when you accept it. When you stop trying to figure out what it is it my sleep? I need to optimize my time management. Maybe there's another system for this, but you're not addressing your behavior with pornography at all. And eventually you give up, not on your work, not on anything else. You just start performing your job. You perform as if you are 100%. But the truth is, you can no longer break through that 80% of performance to get back to where you were because you have completely dysregulated your system, your brain, your body, the way you operate. You never even rest enough. You know why you never rest enough? You can't rest enough because every day or every other day or whatever, however often you use pornography, you are artificially stimulating yourself to a height that your nervous system was never trained to recover from. So you never get enough sleep. You're crashing at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're crashing at 2 o'clock. You just have these random crashes throughout the day. You can spend as much money as you want. You can get all the fucking peptides you want. You can do all of that. But if you're still addicted to pornography, nothing is going to change because you're still destroying your nervous system. So you're not even getting enough rest. You're not making the right executive decision. Now let's take it back home. You know what's happening at home? Nothing, because you no longer experience any intimacy. Emotional closeness is no longer there because your life with your partner is not a series of artificial dopamine spikes. That's how you've been training yourself for intimacy when you view pornography. So things are falling apart at home. You have problems with your partner. Things are falling apart at work. Really, at work, it's not before falling apart. You're actually just doing okay. You'll still do okay for a long time, maybe years. But like I said, the worst part is that consistently performing at 70 to 80% and knowing that there's something wrong and you can't break through will eventually break your competitive spirit. Because you're like, why can't I go to, wow, maybe I'm getting older. Maybe it's my testosterone. Maybe it's, no, bro, you are watching pornography. You need to, that's all you need to change. You need to change that. What's going to happen when you change? When you change, emotional intimacy comes back. You know that feeling with your partner, with your wife, where you're just looking at her and you're like, oh my God, you're just gonna, she's like, like you wake up in the morning and you look at her and go, oh, I'm so fucking lucky. That feeling, if you know, comes back. If you don't have it now, porn destroyed it. Even if you are tired, bro, you know you should be excited to see your wife, to see your partner. You should be just excited to see that, but you no longer have that. Now you're irritated when they're sharing stories of their dreams and telling you about things that happen in their life. Porn. Your ability to make decisions is going to come back when you reboot. That's the process of doing this. You start making decisions like this. You're like, you know, that ability to predict where you're sitting down and your whole team thinks you're just like a fucking magician because you're thinking like 20 steps ahead. You're just like, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. We need to do this. And they're like, this is why you run the company. That ability comes back. Your excitement. This is a marathon. We know it's a marathon. And you can only run the marathon with the right neurochemicals. It comes back. You know the biggest thing that's going to come back? Anticipation. Here is something that only a high achiever will understand. A person with a high achieving self-image. You know that even in the worst fucking disaster, it could be a disaster in your company and in your life, when you are operating at your peak, you don't care about what happened in the past. You don't care if you failed 100 times. You don't care if the company could be burning behind you, because you understand that you have to act as if those things never happened. You show up to the next meeting and you're always present. The next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, you go home and you leave that at work and you stay in that sweet spot. You know, the sweet spot where everything is on fire. You're the only person in the company that stays in the pocket, just right in that sweet spot, because you know from experience that as long as you ride the sweet spot, you guys will get back to where you need to be. There are ups and downs in companies, but the high achievers, the only people who understand this are those who've been in the game for long enough, understand that sweet spot. You lose that when you have a problem with porn addiction. The fear, you know the fear. You know the fear, it's there. It's always there in the back of a fucking cave. It comes out for the first time ever. And you were like, God damn, I haven't felt this fear since I started my business or since I got into the game. I can't believe that I'm even entertaining the worst case scenario. I can't believe I'm doing this. It comes back because of your behavior with porn. So I want you to know that if you're dealing with that, you are not alone. I run a private community, a discreet community of high achievers that understand the decisions we have to make every day. They understand that every morning we wake up, we carry a load that nobody else is carrying. Nobody understands. Your wife, your partner, your friend, they can say they understand, but they do not carry what you carry. I understand it. The men in our group, it's a small group, it's a small community. It's called the REBOOT Intensive. All of us have one thing in common. Our only vice is or was in behavior with pornography. Many of the men in that group succeeded in spite of it. Some of them, like myself, had to overcome it to become a success. But I have dedicated my life to supporting men who are high achievers and struggling with this. So, if you are ready to actually accept the fact that you have this as a problem, or let's say, fuck it, you just expect it, click on the link. Let's get on a call. Let's run you through our diagnostic process, and we will ask you questions that are specific to you as a high achiever to find out if this is truly a problem. And if it is, we'll give you a couple of options where we can help you. But even if you don't want to do that, I want to make sure I'm not crazy. I want to just a reminder that some of you are high achievers and watch this. So just let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate it, just to know that, like you guys out there, I know you guys are pretty private and y'all will watch it and y'all won't like it because that's not your style. But I'm just asking, just to acknowledge that this stuff hits, so I can continue to at least put it out if you don't have the time to work with us or get on a call, okay? I'm JK, your brother in the struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll speak to you later on. Take care.